Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. It keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Hello and welcome to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your hostess with the mostest, Keith, and this is my hostess with the mostess.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say mustache. I'm like, huh?
I mean, no, that would be mean to accuse you of having a mustache.
Cynthia, for those of you name. I know, and we don't know how we're feeling, you guys. We're being honest.
This week is freaking weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a bunch of weird stuff happening.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of freaking out.
Mm-hmm. Panic buying, that's like, which is making matters worse because it's like now no one has supplies. I went to Target actually right before coming here.
Oh, did you really? How was that?
It wasn't too bad actually. I did eavesdrop on a conversation between two workers talking to a customer, and they said that everyone's been really calm.
That's good.
At least at their location. They said they do have like limits and stuff on what to buy, but I went there to buy equipment to do like home workouts, and everything sold out. So I'm like, hey, not only is food and cleaning supplies gone, but now the dumbbells and workout equipment. I'm like, that's even worse for me. But no, that's good because that means that everybody is prioritizing their health and, you know, still continuing on with their physical activity at home. So in a way, it's like I'm kind of happy that all gym equipment is gone from Target, but it's like I need to buy dumbbells. But yeah, it's definitely been a weird time. I mean, people are not working, people aren't going to school, chilling at home, have all the time in the world right now. Just they don't even know what to do with themselves.
Something like that,
right?
That's for sure. Yeah.
So I know for me, I feel like my days are so long. I'm like, oh my God, like I can. So like I said this in the other podcast, but I'm trying to just like stick to some type of routine still, just so I have order in my life. But yeah, how have you been holding up? I know we're all on the struggle bus here.
I've been all right. I have not planned in advance for like any of this. I'm not a big grocery shopper. I usually like eat my meals out with other people. I hang out with my friends a lot. So like this has definitely been pretty trying for me. Like if we go to shelter in place, I will be definitely up a creek without a paddle. So
are you still allowed to like go out and eat restaurants here?
I don't know. I haven't really tried. I didn't go out at all today, so I
know you're able to do to go orders, takeout.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll do lots of that, and I'll probably just eat it in my car outside the restaurant.
Just be like, might as well.
Yeah, stop me if you dare.
Right. I have not dared to go into Costco though, because I've heard that place is an absolute nightmare right now. But my mom did say that the Costco by our house isn't too bad. It could be also because we live in a small town. So compared to like a larger city, I'm sure if you live in a larger city and you have a Costco nearby, I'm sure it's absolute mayhem for you. But for me, living in a small town, it's not too bad. We're still out of certain products, but not to any level that other stores are facing currently. And we're going to open up or start today's episode with how exactly is the coronavirus, impacting Hollywood and the world of entertainment. So as we know, we've heard of all these like festivals shutting down. The very first one was Coachella being postponed all the way till October. which we talked about in the previous podcast. And then now other award shows or, other music events that are being affected by the virus. The 55th Academy Country Music Awards was also postponed. It was supposed to happen on April 5th, and it's now being pushed back to September.
Wow.
But it's country, so no, don't come at me, country fans.
It's a pretty popular awards show. I know.
Yeah.
It's funny. There's a country artist named Sturgill Simpson that I really enjoy, who always gets snubbed for being invited to these awards. And it just is always, it's just funny to me that he even wants to go, because it's just such a useless song and dance, and he's like an existentialist songwriter, so it's just really interesting to me. So.
But what was the other country-ish artist we talked about last week's episode?
Oh, Honey Harper.
Honey Harper. Did he ever get invited to the Country Music Awards?
I would doubt it. I can't imagine that he did.
He should, because his music is probably the only air quote country music I would enjoy. I really like that pick from last week.
Thank you. Yeah.
If you guys don't know who Honey Harper is, listen to our previous episode. Keith talks about him, and me, I'm not into country at all, and I really enjoyed his album. So go check it out. And let's see, what else has coronavirus messed up in
Oh my gosh.
everybody's life? So
aside from everything.
Right. In the music world, the iHeartRadio Music Awards, originally set for March 29th, has also been postponed. And now in terms of concerts and tours, so there's this Latino duo, Juanes and Alejandro Sanz. They've been around for many, many years. They were supposed to tour together, just like Ricky Martin and Enrique Iglesias were supposed to tour together. But instead, since this whole pandemic started, they have canceled their tour and decided to perform or live stream their concert. So they joined forces and brought their concert inside fans' homes, and they streamed their performance on YouTube on March 15th at 4:30 p.m. And I missed it, of course. But
I'm sorry.
Right. But I know. I always,
that was 3 days ago.
3 days ago. I know. I found out yesterday. I'm like, oh, they live stream. But anyway.
A lot of bands have been live streaming shows.
A lot. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense because concerts, thousands of people gather.
I know.
And they're shoulder to shoulder. So, I mean, it's
breathing on each other, coughing
sweating
on each other. Yeah. Yeah. I know that, was it the Dropkick Murphys? They did one last night, since no one could celebrate St. Patrick's Day out. They did a live stream of a concert or something like that they just kind of impromptu did.
Right. Yeah. And also John Legend. So, Chrissy Teigen, she did an IGTV, and she's sitting there on a piano in a bath towel. Okay. Full face of makeup, but in a bath towel. And John Legend is just sitting there singing. He sings so amazing.
He's got a great voice. Yeah.
Amazing. Can you imagine being married to someone who can sing that beautifully, man or woman, and just
Yeah, it would be interesting for sure.
But it was funny because in that video, or in the IGTV, I saw a clip of it. Chrissy Teigen looks so annoyed. She's over this man singing. He probably does it all the time in their house. So he's there, on the piano, being romantic, singing, looking at her in the eyes. And she looks at him and doesn't even crack a smile. I don't know. I think that's also her personality. She's just very, I don't know how to explain Chrissy Teigen, but,
yeah, and I'm not super familiar with her.
She does a lot of I don't know. I'd call her more of a social reality star. I don't really, she doesn't make music. She hangs out with the Kardashians. She's married to John Legend. That's not to say that, I'm not throwing shade at Chrissy Teigen. I follow her on Twitter, but I'm not really sure what she does. I know she's involved in some cooking. But anyway, so our whole point is, concerts are being canceled, tours are being canceled, and everything is now being moved online. So all of these musicians and artists are moving to the digital platform, live streaming their shows and their concerts. So it's a pretty interesting time we're living in right now. And also, the Jonas Brothers also canceled their Las Vegas residency for the month of April. So they will not be performing any more shows at, I think it's MGM.
I didn't even know that they had a Las Vegas.
Me neither. I didn't know they had a residency, but I guess, I don't know. I know like J-Lo does. Who else? A lot of artists do, but I had no idea Jonas Brothers had residency there. And then last but not least, there's like the last thing I'll mention about the virus, how it's affecting the music industry. Live Nation Entertainment and AEG Presents. So if you've purchased tickets through a site, you've most likely purchased through them. So these companies have suspended all tours, which include Billie Eilish, Celine Dion, Jason Aldean, Cher, Kiss, Post Malone, Blake Shelton, Green Day, Madonna, and many others. So as we can all see, this is really just messing up everybody's life. It is messing up everybody's bag right now, if you get what I'm saying. So crazy times we're living in right now. So we're not the only ones being affected by the virus. Even rich people, are getting hit hard. The virus does not discriminate.
No, it does not.
Rich or poor.
Yeah, last week, like right before we started recording the podcast, we found out that like Tom Hanks has it, and like a bunch of other actresses and actors have come out saying that they have it as well. Like, it's definitely scary. Like it's not just an isolated thing. Like, it's affecting everybody all over the world, no matter where you're at. It's
just like a little scarier too, just because this is so new. So there's not a lot of science or evidence to back up what we're seeing. And just to put it out there, shout out to all our healthcare workers and everybody in the medical field, because I know they're like tirelessly working day in and day out right now during this crazy time. So, quick shout out to them, and just stay safe, everybody. Wash your hands. And,
yes, please wash your hands.
Yeah, and just keep calm,
Yeah,
keep calm.
Don't panic buy. Don't feed into the panic. Just kind of like, get through your day.
Yeah, buy what you need.
One day at a time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Take the necessary precautions, but without going overboard.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I think that's going to, we're going
to take a quick break. Yeah, right before we get into our music picks for this week.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Hello and welcome back. Right before the break, we teased you with the fact that we were going to talk about music that we are excited about this week. So I guess we'll do that now.
He's like, I guess we'll do that. All right. So, Keith, what is your first pick here that we have?
So the first pick that we're talking about this week is a record by a woman named Elizabeth Moen. It is titled A Million Miles Away. It is her third studio record. She is not very well known. She's got under 20K listens a month on Spotify. So, I definitely really enjoyed this particular record. Mm-hmm. Just for the like singer-songwriteriness of it. Very kind of like cutesy, I guess would be a good way to describe it. Mm-hmm. I don't remember exactly how I stumbled on her, but I really liked her. So, yeah.
Yeah, I liked it too. I was a little hesitant, I guess, to listen to it because I just read rock. So I guess I have like this negative stigma of rock, like, oh, it's gonna like be like super hard and just I don't know. But I was pleasantly surprised. I even wrote in our notes, I was like, we created a quarantine playlist. Mm-hmm. The song Red, which happens to be one of the most popular songs in the record, would definitely be on there.
Yeah.
In some weird way, I felt like when I was listening through the album, it was very calming.
Yeah.
It was a really pleasant hearing. And even my mom, cause I was in the kitchen listening to the album and my mom was cooking and she like comes over behind my shoulder and she's like looking at my computer and I'm like, do you want me to turn the music down? She's like, no. She's like, I like this. And she like literally starts like doing like a little 2-step as she's like,
oh, that's cute.
Yeah, no. So my mom, I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, I'll play it louder then because
it's definitely enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely enjoyable. I liked it. It was different. She liked Don't Say I. That was the particular song that she like had to come over my shoulder and like look like, what are you playing? So, yeah, I enjoyed Elizabeth Moan. What would you rate this record?
I'd give it like a 7 or an 8 out of 10. I definitely really enjoyed it. If I'm being super honest, it was like a week and a half ago that I listened to it. So like specific songs that I really liked are kind of escaping me, but her voice is just kind of like unique and interesting and very intriguing. And I really liked that about her. And yeah, it's just, it was great and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I like I don't know, like I'm so bad with like the names of the instruments, but I just like all the instruments that were used throughout the songs.
Yeah, the instrumentation is definitely unique.
And the songs are pretty long. They're like 4.5, 5 minutes long. So it's definitely, to me, more like background music.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, my mom was listening to this while she was cooking and it was like nice to listen to. So if I had to rate it, I'd also give it like a 7. I think it was a good listen. I think it's a good pick. So I recommend as well Elizabeth Moan, A Million Miles Away. You guys should check her out.
Yeah.
Like,
and then my next pick for this week is a record by the band called Black Marble. The record is titled Bigger Than Life, also their third studio record. And this is kind of like an electronic music project of sorts. It's very kind of like 80s would be the way that I would describe it. It's definitely really good. I enjoyed it. I liked their first studio record, which this is such a hipster thing to say, which is funny that like hipsters always do this. Like, I liked their first record the best. Like, but honestly, their first record was one of their better records. So
why is that?
It was just a lot more enjoyable. It was more unique. And it just, like once you've heard it once, it kind of feels like the same old song and dance after that. So, yeah.
If I'm being honest, this wasn't like my absolute favorite. And I think it's just, I'm not like crazy about electronic music. I was able to listen to like a few songs, but then I had to stop because I felt it was just kind of repetitive. My mom though liked it. What you mentioned, it's like very 80s and it definitely was. Again, I was playing this while my mom was cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm going to have to start sending pics to like you and your mom.
I know, because clearly she has like good music taste, right?
Apparently,
and like my mom too, like she started hearing like, is it the keyboard? Is that
it would be like a keyboard or a synth.
Right.
Yeah.
So my mom said, she's like, oh, like she literally said, sure, this reminds me like when I was younger, like my younger days, like partying. So
interesting.
Yeah, and again, she does like the same like 2-step for like each genre of music. So
yeah,
there she is scrambling her eggs. So no, not that I don't have too much to say. You even asked me like, did you get a chance to listen to this record? Because I didn't put any notes.
Yeah, and
I said like I mentioned this in the last week's episode. Like, there's no notes because I didn't have much to say about it. Yeah, it wasn't my favorite. That's not to say that this is a bad album or this is like bad music. I just think it's not my taste. But if you are really big into electronic music or you're a fan of Black Marble, you know, give it a listen and let us know what you think. Maybe some of you will disagree with Keith and say, no, the third studio album is the
much
best.
better than the first one.
Right. So
yeah,
we'll see then.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now we've got some picks from you this week, right?
Yes. So we are totally switching gears here. So we touched, you know, I wouldn't even call Elizabeth Moan rock. What would you even call her style?
I don't know exactly what I would call her style.
It's unique. We're just going to call she's in her own lane, all right? She's in her own lane, doing her own thing.
Yeah.
And
it's definitely worth a listen. I don't know. It's like pop, rock, singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
It's hard to know exactly. The problem with like music these days is that everybody's like, you can't put me in a genre. And it's like, well, no, but only because you're trying really hard not to be put into a genre.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, yeah.
I feel it. So, steering away from whatever lane she's in and from electronic music. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys my hip hop pick of the week and my R&B pick of the week. Mm-hmm. So this first artist, many of you might not be familiar with her because she is from the Bay Area, and I feel like the type of like rap music most people listen to, you first listen to like where you're from, right? Like a lot of like people here in Northern California listen to a lot of Bay Area rap. People who live in LA listen to LA rappers a lot. You know, from the South, you know, et cetera. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of like East Coast rappers I'm not familiar with that are really good. So hopefully for all like my hip hop heads out there, if you're tuning in right now, I'm able to put you on to this OG. She's literally OG. She's been in the game for many years. Bay Area rapper. Her name is Kamaya, and this is for her latest album she dropped a couple weeks back called Got It Made. And I just love it. Like, it's definitely like a turn up, twerk, ratchet sound. So this is not music that you would play. Well, again, I don't have a child. I'm not going to tell people how to like parent their child, but I wouldn't play this in a car full of kids. Or maybe
I would not either.
Or like maybe you could, but like very, very low volume. So again, Kamaya Got Made, and I think I'm going to actually cut into a quick break here. I want to leave you guys with a little cliffhanger. And when we come back, I'll share with you guys more on Kamaya and then on my other album pick.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hello and welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. In case you forgot where you were.
I forgot what we were.
Oh, okay. Well, we're at the GSMC Music Podcast, and we're talking about Kamehameha.
Kamaya. Yeah, Kamaya.
She got it made.
She got it. Oh, I thought you were about to like, there's this song. Wait, totally inappropriate. I won't say it. But there's the little like tune you just did right now. I thought you were going to like start rapping.
Yeah.
And it's to the song, She got a
what?
She got a donk.
Oh.
She got a donk. Yeah, so that's what you're like, you said something, got it made.
Yeah.
So I thought that was thinking like, oh, you're singing She Got a Donk, but you're not. Anyway. You guys are probably listening like, what are you talking about? So that's why I was like, right when I like mentioned it, I was like, wait, let me not mention, but I just did. So it's out there, whatever. So we're going to continue sharing with you guys, you know, songs you should add to your quarantine playlist because
I don't know if any of these would go on my quarantine playlist. Like they're fun and some of them have a nice vibe to it, but like I
have two different quarantine playlists. I got my turn up one, so that's like my more hype music, and then I got like my slow tracks, which I'll be sharing for the next album pick. I'll let you guys know who should be on that slow groove quarantine playlist. But if you want something hype, Kamaya Got It Made. Again, she's OG Bay Area rapper. She's been in the music industry for many, 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 many years. She's from Oakland, and if you listen to her music, not even just this latest project, but like her latest mixtape she's dropped over the years, she always has kept the same theme, the same sound. Definitely like Oakland Bay Area rap. And you know, it's like, it's funky, it's hyphy. You hear that throughout her whole, you know, throughout her music. And an interesting fact about the project, every producer involved with Got It Made is from Oakland to capture, you know, the Bay Area sound.
It definitely has that Bay Area
right?
sound. Like, yeah, it feels very like 1990s cruising on the West Coast type of a feel to it. Like there were a couple beats in there where I was like, I swear I've heard this beat someplace else. Like it definitely is good, but it's very nostalgic, which is, you know, good in its own way. Right.
She does like a couple of the songs in the project, she does sample it from other like Bay Area artists. But most of them are like originals. And I know how you feel about like people like remaking and like bringing in that nostalgia, because it's, I guess, I understand what you're trying to say. It's like almost like a shortcut. Like, oh, like of course it's going to be good because this is like, you're going back in time to, you know, people really liked whatever.
Yeah.
So some of my favorite tracks on Got It Made. First one, Get Ratchet featuring Jay Espinoza. The second one is 1-800 I'm Corny. The third one is Digits. The fourth one is Set It Up. And then my last one is Whatever, Whenever, which those, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 songs that I just mentioned. That's basically like more than half of like the project. I think there's only like 9 or 10 songs. So they're pretty short. She calls it an album.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call it an album. It's a pretty short album. But I enjoyed it. Another interesting fact, Jay Espinoza, who's featured in the song Get Ratchet, she's the official DJ of the Oakland Raiders, which are now the Vegas Raiders. So again, still capturing that Bay Area sound, the Oakland sound. And Get Ratchet is such like a great twerk song too. Like I said, like this whole project is definitely music that like me and my girls like pregame to.
Yeah.
When we're getting ready to go out, we definitely play Kamaya just because, again, it's like you just want to like move, shake what your mama gave you.
Yeah.
You know, again, I wouldn't play this around like kids or at a, you know, well, I don't know. My high school played these types of songs during our like rallies. So I don't know. High school could be appropriate. Middle school dances, you may have to like bleep out the words, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see. Elementary school dances.
Are we really going to go through?
Yeah, I'm like trying to go.
Look, this is an adult record. It's like seriously, twerk from the front is one of the lines in a song.
That's in 1-800 I'm Corny.
Yeah. So like definitely, yeah. Cynthia never picks like kid safe options.
No,
like she's not gonna be picking the Trolls 2 soundtrack up in here. Like
no.
Definitely shield your ears, those who are sensitive.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean it's good music. No one's denying that it's good music.
It's just very, but that's what's great that you and I are both here, because you and I provide a plethora of choices for the listener. So many of you are more inclined towards, you know, the choices, the picks that Keith has, and some of you may like the ones that I have. But that's the whole point of the episode or the show. So Got It Made, and 1-800 I'm Corny, that samples Too Short's Shake That Monkey, which is a classic turn-up song, which when you listened, you probably were like, oh, the nostalgia, because that is like a song from like the early 2000s. And funny fact, I actually met Too Short. I met Too Short in a...
I don't know who that is.
He's like another OG Bay Area rapper. He doesn't make new music anymore. Like he used to a lot, like in the 90s and early 2000s. But he hangs around a lot still in the Bay. He's like 50 years old.
Wow.
Still clubbing. Still,
good for him.
still hosting at clubs. But he he hits on girls. Like, it's weird. Like, it's creepy. Yeah. So when I met him, it was at a club. He was hosting. And yes, he's definitely creepy, and especially him being like in his 50s. It's like, dude,
hitting on people
right.
who are 30 years his junior.
Literally, I could be like your daughter, or like a very young grandpa. I don't know.
Hey, I mean, that works for some people. Some people like that relationship.
And just like Megan Thee Stallion, this is a common theme we talked about in the music industry. Kamaya also has been facing a lot of issues with her previous record label, Interscope. And
bummer.
also with them. And she's been very open about that battle with Interscope. And after many years of drama and delay, Got It Made was finally released independently. So there's a completely independent project, not released under any label, which from my understanding, releasing a project independently is like much more challenging than when you have a label backing you up, because obviously they're doing all your promo. The label pays for a lot of, your expenses, from what I was told. I have like another friend who's trying to also make music independently, and they said the hardest thing is that you're literally supporting yourself, from start to finish in these projects. Like, just in a music video, you have to like pay the dancers, pay the videographer. You gotta get the permit for the space you're using if you're going to be out on the street. You gotta pay your engineers, the mixers, whatever. There's so much that goes into music, and I respect anyone and everyone involved in the process, because I know I wouldn't be able to do that. But anyway, so that's going to be my hip hop pick for this week. Kamaya, Got It Made. If you're interested in learning more about the West Coast sound, Bay Area rap, highly recommend Kamaya. She's going to give it to you. And let's move on to my second pick for the week. This is totally different vibe.
I don't know if I'd say totally, but it's relatively different. That's for sure.
So he's a new artist. I actually just discovered him last week. My friend, she makes music independently. So anytime I listen to she puts me onto a lot of music. We'll be in the car and she's playing all of these new and upcoming artists. And I'm like, who is this? So this happens to be one, Brent Faiyaz, definitely not mainstream. I just discovered him last week, and it's for his album titled Tuck the World. We're calling it Tuck. Tuck the World. And this is a slow groove R&B, definitely vibey. I enjoyed it a lot. Brent Faiyaz is also amongst the many other artists who had to postpone and push back his tour dates. He was going to start touring, I believe, in April, and my friends were all going to go. He was coming to Sacramento, and he postponed it until August. So, no Brent Faiyaz in Sacramento area.
Bummer.
I know. And I think also similar to Elizabeth Moen, for me, his album is also great background music. This is music that I can listen to while getting ready, while doing my makeup or whatever. I really enjoyed it. I want to know your opinion, though, first, what you thought, Brent Faiyaz.
I wasn't a huge fan, and
No.
I appreciate it. The production felt super raw, and the vocals were it was very evident that the vocals weren't super polished. And normally I would like that type of thing, but in this particular case, I didn't really enjoy it.
No,
I don't know exactly why. It's just
no.
And it felt like it didn't feel polished. It felt too raw and not super produced. And it kind of had a Nelly vibe to it, which I did enjoy, but at the same time, it was just come on, dude, can you sing this note in tune? He was definitely flat at least a couple times, so I didn't really love it.
Maybe I didn't catch that. Maybe it's because you studied music, so maybe you can catch those little technical things about in the song. So I definitely still appreciate your input. That's not to say that's not to say that like you're wrong or anything. Like I said, I just discovered this guy last week, and he is up and coming. He is very new. But I do think like I like the beats.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what makes it so vibey, you know? Like it's just, I feel like even if there weren't any vocals, I still would have liked this project just from like the sound,
yeah. The
right?
production outside of the vocals was pretty nice, and the sounds that he puts in there, he definitely does a good job with it. It's just the vocals actually kind of ruined it for me, if I'm being super honest.
I actually could see like he doesn't have like a voice that really stands out. You're not like, wow, this guy could sing.
Yeah.
So I understand like where you're coming from.
It felt a little bit like boy bandish. Honestly, like some of it was like, is this Boys to Men as a solo project?
Boys to Men. I know. I get what you're saying. I totally get where you're coming from now that you mention it. So, yeah. But I still wanted to like throw it in here just because he is new. If you're maybe someone who like doesn't want to listen to something mainstream, he could be like a good pick. And I don't know. We'll see. Maybe in his next project, he'll mature his voice in terms of his voice, and he'll surprise us all. And I think also maybe why I liked this album, to me, he's like the male version of Jhené Aiko, who we talked about last week.
Yeah.
She was very vibey as well. And I
enjoyed that record for sure.
Yeah. This one is very sexual as well. It's explicit, but I think it's the way and how he delivers his lyrics, which is how he reminds me of Jhené Aiko, because it's like he's singing, but he's like cussing at the same time, and it's not like super aggressive. But just like you, I actually wrote on the show notes that there wasn't a song in particular that really stood out to me. So I can kind of see how you would think like, oh, like his voice was flat and it needed to be a little more polished.
Well, the whole thing just felt like it wasn't quite as good as I wanted it to be, if I'm being honest.
No, I get it.
So,
he definitely has some like Instagram caption worthy, bars in his songs, which I know for many of my ladies out there listening, many of our captions like come from like Drake songs. So I know when I'm listening to a song, if I hear like a bar, I'll write it down in my notes on my phone. Like, hey, I'll use that for a future caption for a future photo. So he does have some Instagram worthy caption bars in his songs. Overall, I think it's like, I liked it. Brent Faiyaz, Tuck the World. We'll see. Maybe he does have still a little more growing to do. But yeah, just wanted to mention that. And you guys, that's going to wrap up today's episode here at the GSMC Music Podcast. We covered, different styles of music today. So we talked, let's see, Elizabeth Moan, A Million Miles Away. We talked Black Marble, Bigger Than Life, which is an electronic project. If you want a hip hop pick, we got Kamaya, Got It Made.
Or Kamea.
Kamea. That's how Keith's going to say it. Kamea.
Kamea.
And then, how would you say Brent Faiyaz?
Faiyaz? Yeah, Brent Faiyaz.
Oh. That you're not going to change it like Kamaya?
Should it be like Brent Faiyaz?
Anyway, so
it's a fun name.
Right, it is a fun name. And I think that's all we got for you guys today. It's a pretty short episode.
It is indeed, yeah.
We are all in like a weird position, so we want to get out of here and wash our hands and take a shower now. No, I'm kidding. We want to cleanse. Before we wrap up, of course, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment.
Yeah.
All of those. Leave us a 5-star rating because we like those.
Yeah, we love those.
And just stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, stay calm, and that's going to be it. You have anything to add, Keith, before we head on out?
No, that'll be all. Make sure you all stay safe this week, and yeah.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and catch us here next week.
See you next week.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.